Good evening. Good evening, best friend. What? Good evening. Wait a minute. I'm sorry about that. It is 12:46 a.m. Um, let me restart. Let me restart. Reverse. I'm gonna back up. All right. What's good, best friend? What's good, best friend? I did not mean to smile. I did not mean to smile. I really didn't. Okay. Because right now, guys, I'm having a moment. I'm having a moment today. Okay. And I said across my platforms, I said that I had a confession. I had a confession. So tonight, I know it's late. I don't expect a lot of people to jump in, except for TikTok. TikTok people, y'all be up all night. Y'all don't sleep. TikTok people don't sleep. Don't sleep. I mean, y'all like New York City, the city that never sleeps. All the TikTok people, y'all must live in New York. Y'all don't never sleep. I do apologize. I have four cameras going, so let me see. Um, um, Once again, let me. All right, here we go. Here we go. I'm ready. I'm ready. What's good, best friend? What's good, best friend? Welcome to an unplanned, unscheduled episode of Life, Love, and Loud Truth. Welcome to an unplanned, unscheduled episode of Life, Love, and Loud Truth. I've never done one this evening. I'm sorry. I've never done one this late. I've never done one this late. Only because it's late. Okay, so like I said, I don't expect a lot of people to join in. However, I needed to vent. I needed to vent today. Okay, and who else to vent to but my best friend? Who else to vent to but my best friend? So guys, excuse me because I'm actually on four cameras. I think the one I'm pointing at now, I think this is TikTok. Okay, I think this is TikTok. The one directly in front of me, I'm pointing at now, is Facebook. Okay. This one I'm pointing at now is either IG or LinkedIn, okay? And the one above, once again, IG or LinkedIn, okay? But either way, guys, I needed to vent. I needed to vent, okay? So here I am. Who else to vent to but your best friend? And you guys are my best friend. I have five best friends: IG, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube. It's quite a few best friends. Okay, here's the deal. Here's the deal. Tonight is an unplanned, unscheduled episode of Life, Love, and Loud Truth. I was not going to do it. I was not going to do it because today has been a kind of rocky day. Okay, but I want to go ahead and vent because I want to show you all the real side of DJ, the real side of DJ. Okay, so welcome to Life, Love, and Loud Truth with DJ. I've done life and love, being parenting and families on Mondays, Fridays, relationships, the love part. Okay, tonight will be the first time I've done a loud truth. Tonight will be the first time I've done a loud truth. Okay, and like I say, is unedited, unscheduled. I didn't write nothing down tonight. Normally I write down pointers and stuff. I didn't write nothing down because, like I said, I want to be real with you. I want to be real with you. Okay, of what happened to me today. Okay. So, with that said, I'm going to jump right in. Okay, it's 12:49. I don't want to be on here longer than 1:15. Then again, I might. Who knows? Okay, I'm not turning on the phone tonight, so nobody be able to call in. Nobody be able to call in. I'm not turning on the phone tonight. Okay, but let me go ahead and get started. Let me go ahead and get started. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about myself. Okay, one of 10 children. My Our oldest brother passed away during COVID time. Okay, nine of us remaining. Nine of us remaining. Very, very strong believers in God. Family, parents. My dad was a bishop. My mom an evangelist. And that was our life. Born in the church. When I say born in the church, we went to church 8 days a week, 26 hours a day. Okay. PKs out there, you all know what I'm talking about. You all know what I'm talking about. You're in church when nobody else is in church, but the crickets and your parents. Okay, PKs know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so that was us. That was us. Now, not to say that. And guys, I will tell you tonight's episode, unplanned, unscheduled, and it wasn't even going to happen. Okay, but I'm going to tell y'all a little bit about how it happened and why it happened. Okay, so therefore I'm going to give you a little bit about me. Normally I give a disclaimer. I say that my show is not meant to be a churchy, religious type program, type podcast. However, tonight is the loud truth part, so I can't I can't separate the person from the brand. I can't separate the person from the brand. So tonight is Loud Truth with DJ. I'm going to cut off the life and love. Tonight is Loud Truth with DJ. Okay, welcome to the first episode of Loud Truth with DJ. Okay, DJ Darrell James, that's me. Okay, that's me. Okay, guys, I will tell you. So, as I told y'all, 10 of us, one sister passed earlier, so you can say 11. Okay, passed on, I want to say might have lived to see 3 months, okay, but 10 remaining. My oldest brother passed away during COVID time, okay, so there's 9 of us still, but all of us was brought up literally with my dad being a bishop, my mom being an evangelist in the church, okay, so very, very strong values, morals, and definitely believers in God, okay, so therefore, tonight you will hear me speak on some of my upbringing. Okay, however, when I do my planned episodes, I tell you it's not meant to be a churchy thing. But tonight made me realize one thing, and that is you cannot separate a person from their brand. Okay, I'm gonna repeat that again. You cannot separate a person from their brand. Simply meaning you cannot separate a person from who they really are. Okay, who they really are. Okay, so now let me tell you a little bit. A little bit. I am very passionate, very passionate about the people that don't have a voice. Okay, about the people that don't have a voice. Here it is. I want you to catch this when I say this. Okay, for me that tends to be children. Why? Because children did not ask to be here. Okay. Once we hit adulthood, we have learned a lot of our ways. We're set in patterns, okay? But children, they can't be set in patterns because, first of all, they're here, and it wasn't a knock, knock, can I come? Okay? Oftentimes, it is a bang, bang, here I am, okay? Now, what I mean by that is a lot of children came into this world unplanned. How do I know that? Because I've worked in the mental health, behavioral health aspect of what I do for over 25 years, okay? And in research tells us simply that over 83% of children are unplanned. Over 83% of births are unplanned births, okay? So they didn't knock, knock, can I come? It was bang, bang, I'm here, okay? So therefore, they don't have a voice. I'm very passionate about that, okay? I started working with senior citizens, adults, juvenile males, and I found my joy in the children, because I found that oftentimes in working with the children, you're able to share with them and mold them in a way that they can take what you have shared with them and they can make a decision of what they're going to do. And here's the first biblical thing I'm gonna throw out, okay? There's a passage in the Bible that talks about the prodigal son, and it talks about raising children. Okay, and raising children, it simply says raise up a child in the way that they, you will want them to go. Raise a child in the way you want them to go. Now, my current Pastor Lonnie King, okay, Strong Point Church, here in Columbus, Whitehall, Ohio. This is what he shared one time when he was breaking that down. He said that don't mean that those children were not straight. Okay, it simply says raise them in the way that you want them to go, and da 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 da. Now, guys, I've told you I'm not a Bible scholar. Matter of fact, tonight I have to tell you, I actually reached out to my siblings, and I say, guys, I know all you Bible scholars. I need y'all to help me out tonight. Okay. So here it is. I know it says something like raise them in the direction you want them to go, and that if they threw it, they will return. Okay, and then my pastor he simply hit the story of the pastor of the prodigal son, and what he said was the prodigal son was raised. However, the prodigal son he left, but then he returned because he remembered how he was raised. And what does dad do? His dad didn't say go to the barn, go to the farm, and nope, you left, so you ain't coming back. His dad welcomed him with open arms as if he was still there. Okay, so keep that in mind, guys. Keep that in mind, first of all. So we want to raise our children in the direction we want them to go. Okay, this is why it's so important when you hear me talk about the life part of life, love, and loud truth. I talk about parenting and family life. Okay, parenting and family life. it is very important that we are role models for our children, because if not, they will cling to the role models they shouldn't. Okay, when that happens, everything is corrupt. Everything's corrupt. Okay, so keep that in mind. That's the first biblical passage I'm gonna throw out. Okay, but anyway, I first want to back up and I want to recognize something that happened today. Okay, my granddaughter. Some of y'all know my grandchildren are very dear to me. My grandchildren are very dear to me. There's 8 of them. Okay, there's 8 of them. And no biological children of my own. No biological children of my own. However, my grandchildren, I raised them the same, with the same mindset. Okay, if they would have been my children, how would I want them to go? Matter of fact, my oldest, my baby, my princess, she's 18. She's 18. We have so many hard conversations that, I have to tell her. I'm not having a hard conversation with you out of trying to be a dad or trying to be that controlling or anything like that. I'm having a hard conversation with you because I want you to understand the real world that you now live in. Understand the real world that you live in. Okay, and know that Papa loves you and wants you to understand that if I don't tell you the truth of what to expect, then I don't want you to have that excuse to say, well, nobody told me. So therefore, I'm going to tell you whether you want to hear it or not. Okay, she understands. Papa, I know it. I know you. Okay, I understand. I love you. Okay, boom. So guys, that's that life part of life, love, and loud truth. Okay. The love part of life, love, and loud truth is the relationships, the committed relationship part, and the marriages. Okay, the relationship parts and the marriages. Okay, I'm very passionate about what's dear to me. Being children, they don't have a voice, and oftentimes, guys, I don't hesitate to say I'm very passionate about sometimes the feelings, the belief, in how females or women are treated. Okay, because once again, okay, I'm very passionate about those that don't know how to voice, that don't necessarily have a voice. Now, I'm not saying, don't take this the wrong way, that I'm saying that females and women sometimes don't have a voice. What I'm saying is oftentimes females and women, they fall into the belief that we are the softer type, we are the softer gender. So therefore, we can't project what we fully believe. Okay. Now, I tell women in a heartbeat. I do a women empowerment coaching session, a women empowerment workshop, and I start off by telling them, I say, women, you know what? I say, ever since the beginning of time, you have to understand that you are the most powerful being on the face of the planet. You are the most powerful being on the face of the planet. How do I know that? Because once again, I told y'all guys, I was raised in the church. Okay, I was raised in a very Christian family. Our father, once again, and I wasn't getting ready to pray. I'm saying our father, being my siblings, our father was a bishop. Our mother was an evangelist. Okay, so guys raised in church. Now, I know the Bible. I do not claim to be a Bible scholar. My siblings, tonight, I reached out to my siblings. And I said, guys, I need some help because I know there's a passage in the Bible that says this. However, I'm not sure if it's really in the Bible or I don't know if it was one of those times where I was in the church and I heard somebody say something. And one of those times I was falling asleep because I didn't really want to be there. And guys, that happened a lot. I was that one rebellious child growing up that did not want to be there because, like I said, we went to church 8 days a week. I know you're thinking, Darrell, it's only 7 days. Stop. This is my show. Back up. Okay? Here it is. Either way it goes, guys, I say, I don't know if it was one of those times where I was dozing off and I was dreaming that I heard somebody say it. The passage, but I need some help. And one of my brothers, he shot back the answer what I was looking for. Okay. My nickname for him is Bishop. Because, every time he talks, he's throwing out Bible passages in every conversation he have. Boom, 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 just hitting you left and right with them. I didn't know. I thought he might have been working tonight, but he was the first one to respond. I say, thank you, Bishop. Okay. Guys, catch this. I do my women empowerment sessions and workshops and events, and I say, women, you have to understand, as much as things happen to you, you have to understand you are the most powerful being on the face of the planet. How do I know that? Because in my Bible, in my King James Version Bible, it simply tells me that you all were placed in what was called the Garden of Eden with a guy by the name of Adam. Okay? And Adam and this female named Eve, was given a command, was given a direction, was given a direction, a rule, and there was given a command that simply said, you can eat of anything in the garden, you can enjoy anything in the garden, but do not touch that tree. Do not touch that tree, okay, because it bears the fruit. Oh, once again, I should have called my siblings on this too. But either way, do not touch that tree because it bears a forbidden fruit. You should not touch. Okay. Now, guys, keep in mind, Adam was, according to the Bible, Adam was the first being on the face of the planet. Okay. So if we want to look at things in a more in a more authoritative way, or in a more royal family way, he was the king. He was the king. Okay. A couple of days after he was made, God came and took a rib from him and created the female. Okay, so he was first. He was first. However, guys, his first fall was, catch this, his first fall was to a female. Okay, to a female. Now, when I look at pictures and I hear the story of Adam and Eve, what I hear is they were both unclothed. They were both unclothed, okay? Because they didn't see each other in the way that we see males and females now, and we're like, oh my God, look at that body. Okay, they didn't see that at that time. Okay, however, this is what happened. Eve was, I go back into my and guys, I'm gonna tell you, some of y'all might have, if you've been following me, you've heard me say this. If you've been following me, you've heard me say this. Okay, oh, guys, my things are telling me to please tell your followers, your viewers, to share this. I'm not about sharing tonight. I'm not about sharing. Please, I would like to follow, though, but you don't have to share it because, well, like I said, this is an unedited, unscripted, unplanned for. So I don't even know how this is going to go. So you don't necessarily have to share it. That's up to you. Okay? So here we go. Here we go. Here's the deal, guys. I go into my imagination. Oh, I forgot. I told y'all I've worked in this field so long that I have self-diagnosed myself with ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Okay. Now I have simply, thank you the zero, I have simply told myself that the real is something because you lose focus very quick. You lose focus very quick. Okay. And so therefore that's a belief. That's a belief. Okay. That's a belief. And then now catch this. So I go into my ADHD imagination, and I imagine that Adam and Eve was in this beautiful garden, and they were told by God, don't touch that tree because it has a forbidden fruit. And guys, I can imagine that Eve was the most beautiful and the finest woman on the planet. Okay, matter of fact, I can bet that. I can guarantee you that. How do I know? She was the only one on the planet. Okay, she was the only one on the planet. Guys, tonight I'm not trying to laugh and smile, okay, because today was a rough day for me, but it's just happening, okay? I told y'all this unscripted, unplanned, unscheduled, okay? But here's the deal. She went to Adam and she said, baby, come here, honey. Now, guys, what man can resist the most beautiful woman on the planet? I don't care if she is the only one, okay? Who can resist that, okay? Either way, he said, yeah, what's up? What's up, baby? She said, look, bite this fruit. Now, Adam being a man, he was the king, he was the first, he was the ruler. Adam said, honey, I can't bite that fruit because you know what God said. She said, honey, bite this fruit. He said, honey, no, I can't bite that fruit. Now, guys, Eve was like, honey, look at this. And she threw that hair back over her shoulder. And Adam was like, oh my God, look at that neck. Look at that vein right there. Woo, my God. He got enticed. Eve quickly seduced him. Guys, guess what happened? After a while, Eve was like, boy, if you don't bite this fruit, yeah, I ain't gonna let you get close to me. Okay? Now, guys, here it was. Eve had been taking a bath in honeydew water, okay? Smelling like fruits and smelling like all kind of melons and everything. And she told Adam, if you don't bite this fruit, you ain't gonna get a chance to sniff the fruit, the smell no more. Nothing. You ain't gonna be able to look at that nice neckline. Okay, you ain't gonna be able to feel this nice cool hair on you again. Okay, don't even get close. Guys, guess what Adam did? Adam was like, girl, get over here and give me that fruit. Okay? Guys, Adam bit the fruit. He forgot about God. God who? God who? Look at this fine lady right here. Now, guys, he bit the fruit. And that's when he saw Eve for what she was. If you notice, guys, in the Bible, God came down and God, said what he said about what happened, okay? But if I can recall, and don't quote me, guys, because I can't recall. I already told you I'm not a Bible scholar, okay? But I can only imagine in my imagination, after he bit the fruit, he saw what was really standing before him, Eve. And then he saw her as being a naked woman. And he said, oh my God, give me another fruit. Give me another one of those. Okay? Now, guys, they were given a demand after that. Leave the garden and go and reproduce. Adam said, yes, man, I like that command. Finally, let me go and reproduce. Okay? Now, guys, here's the deal. When I do my women empowerment coaching, I tell women, you are the most powerful being, gender on the face of the planet. How do I know? Because you brought down man. You spoke to man, bite the fruit. And guess what? He bit the fruit. But guys, women today, they don't understand the power they have. The power of persuasion. Now, guys, don't confuse me saying the power of persuasion with the power of sex. Okay? Don't confuse. Oh, the DJ said, Darrell said, the power of persuasion and the power of sex just because. No. The power of persuasion. Because keep in mind, guys, prior to Eve asking Adam to taste the forbidden fruit, he didn't see her as being different. Did y'all catch that? He didn't see her as being different. He saw her as his equal. The zero, thank you so much. Okay, he saw her as his equal. Okay? He bit the fruit and then he saw her as a female. And guys, I wonder oftentimes, do females understand the power you have? Do you understand the power you have? Because you sit back and you start to become insecure because you start to question, am I worthy of what's happening in my life? Okay? Females, here's the love part, the life, love, and loud truth. Okay? You have to understand the power you have. You have to understand the power you have. Now, with that said, guys, I'm going to go into what brought my day down to a low. Okay? Normally, guys, I'm very energetic throughout the day. People ask me all the time. People that know me personally, my work and everything, they already had any caffeine. I had a caffeine overdose years ago. A little caffeine overdose. I woke up in the hospital after a caffeine overdose. Okay, and guys, here's the thing. It scared me. It literally freaked me out. It scared the crap out of me. So therefore, I didn't do caffeine for years. I didn't do caffeine for years. I would stay away. I might buy a 20-ounce Mountain Dew if I wasn't driving. Now, if I wasn't driving. I love to drive. This is why I get new vehicles, because I like to jump in them and drive. Go places. Just go places. Okay. So I would do caffeine when I'm driving and stuff. But however, outside of that, very seldomly would I do caffeine. Okay. However, when I do caffeine, moderation. I could buy a 20-ounce Mountain Dew. It will last me 3 days. Because a sip. That's it. A 20-ounce Mountain Dew will last me 3 to 4 days. Just Christmas of last year, my team at work, they brought in cold brew. They brought in Stokes cold brew. Oh, I did something. I said, guys, that's how you know this is unplanned, okay? Because if you remember the very first podcast, somebody joked and said, the real DJ, you are drinking that water like it's a commercial. And I was like, thank you for saying that, because I'm not going to show you the brand, because I'm not showing brands. I was talking about brands on this show unless I'm getting paid for it. I just made a mistake, okay? This is the one thing I say, guys, this is unplanned and unscheduled show, okay? I just mentioned Stokes Cold Brew. I went and I said, what is that? And one of my team members said, Darrell, is cold brew. I said, what is cold brew? Darrell, is cold coffee. Cold coffee. And it was unsweetened. Okay, now keep in mind, I don't do sugar. Matter of fact, I just did a biometric screening at my job. Found out my blood sugar is now going the opposite direction of when I had diabetes. Okay, your blood sugar is kind of low. We need to get it up. Okay, my team member threw me some Mentos, popped the Mentos. Oh my God, I just did the second commercial plug. I said Stokes and Mentos. All right, scratch that. Y'all didn't hear that. Okay, but anyway, threw me some, got my sugar back up. Boom, I'm good. But guys, I can take a little bit of caffeine, and my teammates be derailed how much caffeine you had today. Literally, from a cap full of caffeine. Okay, normally I'm like that. Today, though, guys, something happened that really flipped my day. Really flipped my day, and I'm going to share it with you. So prior to doing this live, I posted, I said, guys, I have a confession. I need to talk to my best friend. So I'm going to, da da da. Here I am. What happened, guys, was my granddaughter named Sarai. My granddaughter named Sarai. She's 14 years old. She is very, very smart. Very smart. Okay. She do math problems that when I was her age, I looked at and was like, what's the point? Okay. Shapes and numbers are not meant to be called math or a form of math. Shapes are shapes, numbers are numbers, numbers are math. Okay, shapes don't belong in math. Okay, so I remember the first time in high school, opened up a geometry book. I'm like, why are there squares and triangles and rectangles in a math book? Okay, get rid of the book. Get rid of the book. Okay, but either way, guys, either way, she is so smart. She look at numbers and all that stuff, and it's just like it's a toy. It's a toy for her. Guys, she represented her school today, Patriot Preparatory Academy. She represented her school today at the Math Counts competition. Math Counts competition. Okay? A competition for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders of math. It is put on by the National Association of Engineers Association or something like that. Okay, now here's the deal, guys. 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. There were 6th graders there that was representing 7th and 8th grade. Okay, so now one of my first shows, Life, Love, and Loud Truth, I said, are parents responsible for teaching their kids manners? I asked that question. Okay, I asked that question. Okay, here's the deal. Here's the deal. Okay, I said, guys, we have to teach our children. We have to teach our children respect. We have to teach our children respect. Okay. The zero, I understand. Thank you so much for stopping in. Okay, guys, we have to. Okay, because if not, they won't learn it. I sat down today at the Math Counts competition, and I sat down toward the end of the aisle. Okay, they were on lunch, so I didn't want to take anybody's seats. I said the end of the aisle so I could move. And this kid, he walked by me, over me 3 times and stepped on my toe. Now, guys, keep in mind, I work with children. Okay? I have a passion for children. What I know about children is sometimes, just like adults, we don't know what we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. Until somebody brings it to our attention, we don't know it. We don't recognize it. Okay? Especially with children. Okay? Especially with children. He walks by me 3 times and he steps on my toe. He steps on my toe 3 times. The 4th time he goes to walk by me, I put my hand out. I said, excuse me. He said, yeah. I said, you've stepped on my toe 3 times. And he say, oh, and, okay, spam, that's not for me to answer, but thank you for popping in. Thank you for popping in, okay. I just wanted to make you aware, okay, that when you step on people's toes, oftentimes when you cross over people, is rightfully to say, excuse me. You've stepped on my toe 3 times and not said nothing. So, excuse me would be a nice. Oh, all right. Excuse me, and I'm sorry. I say thank you. Fist bump. Boom, boom, boom. I looked at his teacher in the front and I tapped on her shoulder. This is what she said to me, guys. This is what she said to me. She says, sir, you have to understand that these are old men in young children's body. And I say, excuse me. I say, teacher, you have to understand. Okay? Not only do I work with children, okay, I can guarantee you I can connect with more children in a day than you can in your lifetime. Okay? I'm that confident with it. Okay? I know that about myself. I have a gift of connecting with people, but especially children. Okay? So I say, man, trust me, I'm not telling him anything negative. I just want him to understand, to say, excuse me, as his teacher, you should have told him that the first time he stepped on my toe. Now, guys, he goes to sit down beside her. Catch this part. Catch this part, because this is very important to what happened to my day today. He goes to sit beside her, and he turns to the little boy sitting beside me, who was very small, and he had pulled out a laptop, and he goes, "Dummy, didn't you read the thing about you're not supposed to bring electronics in here?" He goes, "And I've seen you at the school, but who are you?" This little boy, much smaller than he was. And guys, when I imitate the voice, no joke, this kid, I want to say, matter of fact, he was in eighth grade. He was in eighth grade. His voice was his voice was like Barry White. He spoke, and I was like, oh my God, that boy, how did your voice get like that? And you're in the eighth grade, man. You know, I was shocked. Okay, but he turned, he said, "Dummy, when you told." So guys, I tapped the teacher's chair, because this was her opportunity to stop him from bullying. She didn't. The little boy said, "My name is da-da-da. I'm in the 6th grade, but I am representing the 8th grade." To me, guys, I looked at him like, whoa, 6th grade representing the 8th grade. So that tells me this was a very, very intelligent, very smart kid. Okay? Tells me. The kid, "Well, I just want you to know, dummy, you need to learn how to read before you represent us 8th graders." So I go back to Teach. I tap on the shoulder. I say, "Teach, that's called bullying." Oh, just, boy, stop. You know better. Stop. Okay. Guys, once again, we don't know what we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. Okay. I volunteer at my grandkids' school, and I go in quite a bit, and I talk to teachers. I tell them, you all have a very hard job, because you're taught to be a teacher. You're not taught to be a parent. You're not taught to be a social worker. You're not taught to be a counselor. You're taught to be a teacher. Unfortunately, teachers now, guys, they have to do everything. They have to be nurses. They have to be parents. All that. Okay, but either way, this was the teacher sitting in front of me, who was being a teacher. She didn't have those other ears on. She was being a teacher. "Excuse me, he's bullying." Oh, all right. So, she tells him to turn around, Okay? So, guys, either way, I wasn't there to be in the role I'm in at my job. Okay, my teammates at work will tell you, I stress, guys, I would do anything while I'm on the clock. I would talk to any kid that come in this building and connect with them. Because I'm on the clock. I don't mind. I get stuck in the elevator for 8 hours and get paid. I don't mind. I'm on the clock. I'm getting paid for it. However, I wasn't getting paid at math count today at Columbus State Community College. Okay, I wasn't getting paid. So I got up and I moved. I text my daughter and I say, "Are you all here?" She said, "We're over on the left side." "I'm coming over. I'm moving." Okay. I wasn't getting paid to be in work capacity there, so I moved. Good. Once again, shout out to Patriot Preparatory Academy. Okay, shout out to Patriot Preparatory Academy. I move. They come back from lunch, guys. The contest starts. Now, the contest starts, guys, and it's going really good. And it's fun, because what was fun about it was when I was growing up at Oliver Elementary in Seal, Alabama, I was a part of what they call the TAG program. Okay, Talented and Gifted program. Okay, but once again, guys, I wasn't that type that math was not a favorite. Math was not a favorite at all, because I struggle with, why are there shapes in this math book? That's because that's geometry. All right, well, shapes shouldn't be in a math book. No, they don't belong together. Okay, so guys, here it is. I'm at this competition today, and the guy throws out a question. Follow this, guys. Follow this, and I remember this because this one was the one that made me kind of smack myself. If Jill went over Jack's house at a certain time, and Jill went up the hill to see if Jack was on the top of the hill instead of at his house, then how many steps did Jill take up the hill? Guys, 3 seconds later, this girl goes, 52 steps. And I'm sitting there like, all right, where's the rest of the question? Because the guy hadn't even said a number yet. He didn't say how many. He didn't say no numbers. All he said was alphabets. Now, I'm listening for numbers. It's a math competition. Math counts. This little girl, 3 seconds. I'm like, where's the rest of the question? So I'm gonna see if I can get it. Judge say, you're correct. 52 steps. I'm like, how the heck she get 52? He didn't even finish the question. Now, guys, I thought it was just me. The announcer goes, wow, you're correct. 3 seconds, that's the quickest anybody get. And I'm like, oh my God, I really feel bad right now because I'm like thinking, Darrell, you should have paid attention in school. Maybe those shapes and numbers, they had something. Okay, they had something. Either way, guys, I'm not feeling it. But the math count was kind of exciting. Math counts was kind of exciting, so I'm sitting there. So, guys, fast forward to the end of the math counts is where my frustration shifted. Now, guys, you notice I'm wearing my glasses. Okay, in the post, I said I was kind of angry today and sad. So I had to put on my angry and sad glasses. Okay, I'm not supposed to be laughing or smiling right now because these are my angry and sad glasses. Okay, I look like the lady from The Incredibles. Okay, these are my sad and angry glasses. Guys, I teach children. I work with children on how to cope. And here it is, guys. I literally don't remember a day in my life where I've been angry. Okay, I have sources. If you look right here behind me, y'all see that speaker? That's the latest speaker to my DJ equipment. Okay, this speaker behind me, guys, is 2,400 watts. 2,400 watts. I have two of them. 2,400 watts. Okay, now sound, how loud and stuff isn't measured by watts. It's measured by some other stuff. Okay, decibels and stuff. Okay, but either way, this speaker behind me, guys, I took it with my one of my older granddaughters, Amaya, 15, which is Sarai's sister. She wants to get into photography, so I went with her. We went downtown, and she did my photo shoot. She did my photo shoots, okay. And I took this speaker with me as a prop because I wanted people to know I DJ it, I speak, and I do all this other stuff. I wanted something to let people know I DJ. Guys, keep in mind, it was freezing. It was freezing. Okay, we're doing pictures and I'm doing jumping jacks in between, so ice wouldn't be dropping out my nose and my eyes and stuff. It was freezing. Okay, here it is, guys. Here it is. I asked my granddaughter. I say, Amaya, sweetie, are you curious how loud that speaker gets? She said, yeah, Papa, because every time I come over, I've never heard it loud. You have it playing low. That's because I got neighbors. I don't want. It's supposed to be 2,400 watts. I don't want to scare my neighbors. I said, you want it? Yeah, Papa, let's test it. Okay, that's all I needed to hear. Let's test it. Guys, I put the speaker to 4. In the house, the loudest speaker's been, I put it on 1. Because 2, I don't want to get my neighbors, you get riled up. I put it on 4, I think it was. Boom, boom. I was, whoa, man. Okay. She said, Papa, I said, Maya, you want to go louder? She said, yeah. I'm like, all right. Now, guys, my grandkids, they can easily persuade me. They can easily persuade me. Okay. Somebody told me, Darrell, how long would it take you to spend $1 million? I say pre-grandkids or the moment now. Now, well, my grandkids, all 8 of them, man, we will pack the truck up, and I think we can get through $1 million in a week. Okay. Now, guys, that's just a joke. Okay, but my grandkids, they can easily persuade me. Okay. She said, yeah, Papa, let's turn it up. I get the remote control. Boom. Go to 8. Guys, went to 8. People jogging by where my granddaughter did my photo shoot at, they're stopping. Oh, my God, what is that? What is that? Then this little old couple, they come across the street. Right across the street from North Bank Park in downtown Columbus are these condominiums, glass condominiums, really nice, really big. Okay. This older couple, they come from across the street. Excuse me. And the little old man, he goes, how you doing? I said, I'm doing good, sir. How you doing? And he said, I'm doing good. And his wife, both of them, cute little old couple. Matter of fact, I was thinking about them today, and I'm going to go back over there with this speaker because I want to interview them on one of my shows. Cute little couple. He said, we stay up there on the 15th floor. And we was in our living room, and I was like, oh, somebody must be getting married again, but they getting married in the cold. And my wife said, don't, she said, she went to the balcony. She said, honey, it don't look like it's a wedding. I see just like, looks like somebody bald head because I see shine coming off the top. And he says, so we was curious. So we walked over here. We came out of our condo, walked across the street to North Bank Park, downtown Columbus, Ohio. And we came over to see what the music was, what the sound was that was boom, boom, boom. I said, for real? He said, yeah. He said, what is that? I said, that's called the Monster G130. Okay, y'all see the M on it? The Monster G130. Oh my goodness. I keep advertising tonight, and I'm not getting paid for advertising. I'm so sorry, guys, but that's once again this show, this episode, guys. I'm planning unscheduled. It was not supposed to happen, but I need to talk to my best friends. Because I need to vent. I want to share with you all that it is okay to be human, and I'm gonna tie that all up here shortly. Okay, but here it is. They came out. And he say, honey, I think I want one of those speakers for my birthday. She said, baby, no. You hear how loud that speaker is? They've been and kicked us out of our condo. The old man say, honey, no they won't, because they going to feel sorry for us because they know we're the oldest ones in the building. And they laugh, I laughed. I say, what is your favorite song? And guys, he looked at me. He say, that song from the show Hamilton. And I said, that song from the show. I grabbed my phone. I looked it up. Boom. Guys, I took the speaker to 15. The old couple grabbed each other and they started dancing. And I was like, oh my God. I almost started crying. My granddaughter, she looked at me. She started laughing. Amaya started laughing. And guys, I had a moment because once again, I told you I have a gift of connecting to people. Okay, and they danced. I played the song twice for them, and they held each other and danced as if it was their first time. Made me think about something my dad told me back when him and my mom were both alive. They had renewed their vows. I want to say their 35th wedding anniversary. Okay, the 35th wedding anniversary. I know all 10 of us had been, were there. And I told my dad said, Darrell, when are you going to get in a serious relationship? I said, when I'm old and in a wheelchair. He said, why? I said, because I don't think I can ever find that one woman that I want to be with for the rest of my life. I don't think there's one woman I want to be with for the rest of my life. And my dad said, that's the best part of marriage, Darrell. Because every day with that one woman is like waking up next to them all over again for the first time. And I was like, oh, Dad, I know now I would never find that. Now, guys, that's what I told him. Fast forward to North Bank Park. That couple were dancing and looking at each other like they had just met. I had a flashback of them being 18 and 19 years old at the high school prom because that's what they looked like as they danced to the song from the Broadway show Hamilton. Okay, I wound up playing three. And in the cold, they stood there and they held each other tight and they danced. Joggers, they started coming up to the platform where I'm doing my pictures and they're all dancing into that. Okay, a photo shoot, guys. You can look at my website and see some of the great pictures my granddaughter did. Okay. DarrellJames.org. You can look at some of the pictures. DarellJames.org. DarellJames.org. Okay. They came up and they started dancing. I had on sweaters, guys, because it was freezing. But yet, that old couple, they danced. People stopping jogging, they danced. Okay, because of the music they were hearing. The love part to it, guys. The power of connection. Okay. Get to the end of math count today, guys. And this is what really wrecked my day. Okay, keep in mind, guys, I work with children. What I know of children and what I'm about to say, some of you all may not agree with it. Why? Because it's stuff that we don't think about. You might not agree with it. Okay. But it don't matter if you don't agree with it. I said the very first podcast show that I'm not everybody's cup of tea. There's going to be a lot of people that don't agree with me, but here's another passage from the Bible I'm going to throw out. Okay, and I want to say one of my siblings told me the book of Isaiah. It was said, "Cry loud and spare not," which simply means tell the truth. And I take it, tell the truth, my interpretation, tell the truth, and don't necessarily focus on the feelings and the emotions. Because oftentimes it's the feelings and the emotions of the people listening that have gotten them in the predicament that they're in. Okay. So when I started the podcast, my prayer was, Lord, let me focus on cry loud and spare not. Okay. Let me tell the truth and the feelings and emotion that I can coach them through that later. Okay. So here it is, guys. Here it is. What I'm about to say is going to step on somebody's toes, but once again, that's fine. That's why the show is called Life, Love, and Loud Truth with DJ. I'm DJ, Darrell James. Okay, so I do thank y'all for joining. Okay, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all of you is joining. I do thank y'all for joining. What I said, I take it as a grain of salt because I'm not trying to say don't follow and don't listen. Okay, here it is. Guys, our children are literally the future. Okay, when we disrupt the best of us, it interrupts the rest of us. Now let me repeat that. When we disrupt the best of us, being the children, we do stuff to disrupt their trajectory. We do stuff to disrupt their life. We do stuff to disrupt their journey in life. Then what happens is we disrupt their life, therefore they will interrupt our life. But guys, the interruption didn't start without us doing something first. Did you catch that? The interruption didn't start without us doing something first. We disrupted their life first, okay? And I'm going to tell you how we do that. The announcer, he goes on to say, and in the team category, I want to say, Olentangy, and guys, don't quote me on this again. Olentangy, some school in Olentangy. Team category, winners. And guys, this is where the first time, if I would have had an invisible dart gun, he probably would have got hit in the neck. Okay, literally. And guys, I live by certain principles. Okay, I live by integrity. Okay, I take pride in my integrity. I take pride in the fact that I try and be genuine the same way with everybody. Okay, what you get, everybody's going to get. Okay, I take pride in the fact that I live by a principle of treat people the way you want them to treat you. Keep in mind, guys, I didn't say treat people how they treat you. I'm going to 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 treat you the same way I want you to treat me, in hopes that you're going to be reciprocal and treat me back the way I treat you. Now that don't happen all the time. Okay, it don't happen most of the time, but it don't matter. Okay, because I'm living to please God and the real. Okay, I'm living to please God and the real. Okay, as long as God is okay, is happy with it, and as long as the real is okay, that's fine. Okay, so those are some of the principles I live by. I told you guys I'm not one to get angry. So today I wasn't sure if I was angry or what. Maybe I was just hungry. I did hear my stomach growl. So I knew I was uneasy. So I got home, guys, and I poured out these glasses. These glasses, when I poured these out, they let me know, Darrell, you were either angry or just sad. Okay, I put them on. Darrell, you was angry. Because you just said if you had a dart gun, an invisible dart gun, you would have got him in his neck. Guys, let me tell you what he said. He said, Olentangy, I think he said middle school, you all come up. You all won the team competition of math count. Now, guys, it was three young ladies that walked up to the stage. Now, I'm making an assumption by saying three young ladies. Okay, I can tell you this. Okay, they had long hair. He said young ladies, so I just made the assumption young ladies. Okay. He said, guys, I want it to be known that this is the first time I've been doing math counts as an announcer, as a judge, as a volunteer for 40 years. I want it to be known this is the first time in 40 years that an all-girl team has ever won. And I was like, ooh, Darrell, where's the dart gun? Where's the dart gun? Because this guy has took the whole competition to now to where it is very sexist. Simply saying that just because he's looking at these young women as girls or females, that they should not be allowed to win a math count competition. So I'm sitting there, Darrell. You know how you tell the children at work, okay? Stop, think, smell the soup, blow out the candles. Smell the soup, blow out the candles. And guys, I'm doing this. Because now I realize, all right, Darrell, I think you're getting angry. And I'm like, but I'm not turning green. How do I know I'm getting angry? Okay, your stomach was growling. There's not a little bear in there. That's your stomach growling. So I'm trying to talk myself, Darrell, you're not getting angry. But guys, then he took it a step further. The winner of Math Count 2026 Columbus State Community College in Columbus, Ohio today was a girl. A young lady. You want to know what he said? In all of my years, I've never seen a girl win this contest. But I wanted to be known that she won. Now, guys, I know life is about perspective. And maybe I felt the way I felt some kind of way because of where I work and how I work with children. Okay? And that is, I'm very intentional. I'm very mindful of what I say to them, because I know that even though I say it not to harm or hurt, I know that sometimes the way it's taken based upon their experiences in their past life, it can be taken and it can re-traumatize or cause hurt or harm. Okay? And to me, I was taking it as did this dude really just say a girl should not win this contest? Now, guys, I want to share something with you. Real quick. A couple of years ago, I had a stroke. I took my two youngest grandkids, Riley and Grayson, to see Inside Out, the new Inside Out movie. What's the new? I think it was the new Inside Out movie. I took them to see the new Inside Out movie, and we were leaving the movie theater, and Riley, my granddaughter, she said, "Papa, you're talking funny. I said, "Oh, it's okay." Drove home. Get ready to drop her off. "Papa, give me a hug." She said, "Papa, you're talking funny." And she said, "Papa, your face looks funny." Now, guys, Riley, at the age of, I think she was 3 or 4. I think she was 4 at that time. 4 years old at that time. 4. Yeah, 4, because she's 6 now. 6, I think. Yeah, she'll be 7 a couple of weeks. Riley knew I was having a stroke. I didn't know it. Heck, I drove home. I left the movie, I drove home. She knew something was wrong with her papa. Today, guys, we're sitting in Math Count, and Riley is sitting right beside me. She said, "Papa, are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm okay." "Papa, are you okay?" She said it 3 times. "Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay, sweetie." Guys, she knew something was off balance. She knows her papa. Okay. She detected my stroke before I knew it was happening. Got home after dropping them off. I went upstairs and I looked in the mirror and I said, "Oh," I told my wife at the time, I said, "My face looks funny. I think I might be having a stroke." Okay. We drove to the hospital. Sure enough, guys, I get in there. I told the nurse. She said, don't even talk. Have a seat." Sirens went off. Boom. I was having a stroke. Today, my granddaughter said, "Papa, what's wrong?" "Nothing. I'm good." Guys, she knew something was wrong. The man continued to speak. And I'm like, "Can somebody please just take the mic from him? Take the mic from him. Because now he's speaking in terms of stuff that can hurt the best of us. He's saying stuff that can hurt the best of us. Those young women could have left there today thinking, all the hard work I've put in to become smart as I am in math and stuff, this guy did not believe it was supposed to happen. And guys, they could wind up where I work, literally, because of what was being said. And it really hit me. Okay? It hit me. So the first thing I did was One thing I know, guys, if you've ever heard my disclaimers, I say I'm not a therapist. I'm not a coach. I'm sorry, I'm not a therapist or a counselor. I am a coach. There's a difference. Sometimes we go through stuff that needs professional help. This is where you look at the therapists and the counselors. Okay, I'm a coach. I can guide you in that direction. I can guide you in that direction. Okay. Thank you all. Those of you on TikTok, this camera here, TikTok. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for joining. IG, thank you all for joining. Facebook, LinkedIn, thank you all for joining. Okay. Here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. So it was hurtful because once again I told you I have a passion for working with the best of us. When I say the best, guys, I'm talking about children, okay, because they're innocent. They didn't say knock knock, can I come? Okay, they didn't ask to be here. They didn't say knock knock, can I come? It was more like bang bang, I'm here. Okay, here's the deal, guys. I called up a friend because what I know is if we don't get at what we're feeling, be it to a coach, a friend, a family, somebody we can trust, okay? What happens is that stuff, those feelings and emotions, they sit in, they fester, they sit in, and they grow. Okay, and what I know about what we call the balloon theory of emotions is the more wind and the more air we put into that balloon, guys, the bigger that balloon gets. That balloon can only hold so much air, and eventually that balloon, boom, it pops. Okay, we're the same way. If we hold it in, eventually those feelings and emotions, they pop, they come out. Guess what? Oftentimes they pop out on the people that had nothing to do with the situation. So this is why it's important to talk to people, guys, and get those feelings and emotions taken care of. So I called up one of my friends. Now, guys, I work with some of the best doctors and clinicians and therapists in the world. Okay, but not only that, catch this, I have a sister that's a therapist. I have a cousin that's a therapist. Okay, several relatives. So I know I can rely on any of those. I know I can rely on any of them. Guys, thank you all. Thank you all. TikTok is blowing up. I told you, guys, I joked earlier. I said TikTok. All of my TikTok supporters have to live in New York. Why? Because they never sleep. They never sleep. Whatever time I get on TikTok, and guys, I have to tell you, TikTok is literally my coping skill. I get home from work after 10 hours, 12 hours. I do 30 minutes of TikTok. Okay, that's my coping skill. I laugh at the videos. I follow people and da. Okay, TikTok, they never sleep. So all of my TikTok followers, they have to be from New York. They are up at 1:43. Okay, so guys, I really like it. I really like it. Okay, so here it is. Okay, all right, IG, thank you. Here it is, guys. I called my friend up. Okay, he's a doctor. I said, Doc, I'm struggling. What's up, DJ? What's up? I told him. I say, this guy got up and said some very sexist stuff. The competition, I want to be known, was won by a girl. First time in 40 years that ever happened. The team competition won by 3 girls. First time in history that's ever happened. And I'm like, dude, just fall over, please, leave. Let me. Somebody take the mic from him. And guys, here's the second part that kind of took my day to a downward spiral. Okay, somebody that was with my friend. Okay, you know cars now. My car, I call somebody in the car. You call me in my car. It goes in. Everybody in the car can hear it. Same way with him. Same way with him. Oh, I almost did another commercial, but I can't do that. Okay. But he has a really nice car. Okay. Got four or five little circles on the front of it. They made the comment. But DJ, can I say something? I said, hey, you a doc. Yeah, you can say something. You're in the car. Yeah, you can say something. This is what they said, guys. They say, you have to understand that he was an old man. He's an old man. He said he's been doing that for 40 years. Over 40 years, he's an old man. Now, guys, all of my coworkers, my team will tell you, I struggle. I recognize my problems and I struggle, and I know they're a struggle for me, so I try and work through them all the time. I struggle with what I call generational excuses. And here it was, somebody was hitting me with a generational excuse. You have to understand that he's an older man, so he don't understand what he said or what he did. Now, I'm not even talking about what I work with, because where I work and the work I do, we try not to get into identifying people by genders without their permission. So we be careful of the pronouns we use, okay? So not only did he do that, girls are winning, but he also went into, it's never happened before, okay? Now, here it is, okay? Here it is. Generational excuses. He's old. Here's another biblical passage I'm going to throw out. I text my sibling groups and I say, best family, I need some help. I know that somewhere in the Bible it speaks about a lack of knowledge. A lack of knowledge. I don't know if I literally heard it or if I was asleep on one of those times in the church after going to church for 8 days a week, 26 hours a day. And so I said, I'm not sure if I was asleep, taking a nap, being rebellious, or, you know. My brother, whose nickname I call Bishop, he shot back. He say, Hosea. Okay. I may be, once again, I told you I'm not a Bible scholar, so I may be saying it wrong. Hosea. So I shot back. Thank you, Bishop, and thank you, Hosea. Okay. And I still didn't look it up, but what I remember about the passage was something like something about the fact of a people will pretty much lack hinder themselves due to a lack of knowledge. Guys, here's the generational excuse. We can no longer allow ourselves to use generational excuses like they're too old. Here's why. Guys, I have some really close friends I want to tell you about. Okay, this couple, Mr. and Ms. Google. Or you can, any electronics, put it in google.com. Google.com, you talk to them, they're very simple to get along with. They're very simple to get along with. You put that into whatever technology, whatever screen you're looking at, it simply says, what would you like to know, or something like that. You just simply ask a question and it will respond by giving you some answers. Okay. I had a friend years ago that was going through some marital problems, and I wasn't coaching because, once again, he's a friend, guys. I was just sharing some good advice, some good recommendations. And he simply said, "Oh, Darrell, if I would have met you years ago, I probably would have been a better dad, and I probably would have been a better husband." That's an excuse, bro. That's an excuse, because here it is, okay? You could have always went to Google and said how to be a good husband, and guess what? You would have gotten 100 pages of information on how to be a good husband. You could have said how to be a great dad. You would have got 1,000 pages of how to be a good dad. Okay? So guys, all I'm saying is we can no longer use generational excuses. Okay? I work with people that say, well, my supervisor said I'm going to get in trouble the next time I have my phone on the work floor. And you get in trouble. But don't they understand I need to have my phone? No. Rules are rules. Okay? Generational excuses. We can no longer say I don't understand, or I don't, because da-da-da. Generational excuses. We have to understand, guys, that when it comes to people, okay, when it comes to people, that we have to understand, we have to make sure we're not doing stuff to hinder people, especially our children. Why? Because as I said, with our children, guys, is when you disrupt the best of us, being our children, innocent. That's what I mean when I say the best of us. You allow the interruption for the rest of us. What do I mean by that? We say, children are out of control. Why are they out of control? Lack of sorry parents. All right. So guess what? Here it is. Here it is. Somewhere along the line, their lives was disrupted, and now they're growing up to interrupt. Go back to what I said. When you disrupt the best of us, you allow the interruption for the rest of us. Okay? So guys, I simply told the doctor, my doctor friend, I say, Doc, whoever that is in your car, can you please tell them, Darrell, I've already told them, I just threw my hand up telling them to be quiet because I knew where you was going with it. Okay? We cannot allow that, guys. We cannot allow that. Okay? Last one, guys. Last one. We have to understand that our children, first of all, there's adults that don't know what they don't know. Our children don't know because, once again, a lot of our children were born out of bang, bang, I'm here, and not knock, knock, can I come? A lot of our children were unplanned for. Were simply meant they're the results of an action that wasn't planned to happen. And now when 9 months later, they're knock, knock, I'm here. Bang, bang, I'm here. Everybody's shocked. There's several times to where the male actually leaves the picture. How do I know that? Because, guys, I've been coaching parents and families for years. And oftentimes it's single parents. So the male actually disappears to leave. Okay? Once again, because they were unplanned. Okay, were unplanned. So guys, in closing, I want to first of all thank all of you for joining tonight. Thank all of you for joining. Okay? Linda, thank you. Thank you so much. I want to thank all of you for joining. Chloe, okay, all of you that are watching. Thank you all for joining tonight. Guys, I want to close with this. Okay, I want to close with this. Okay. Here it is. Here it is. Please catch this. Guys, we have to let people know that just because we were born in a certain era, a certain generation, we cannot use that as an excuse to be or do things that can hurt other people. Okay, we cannot use that as an excuse to hurt other people. We have to understand that we have to start treating people how we want to be treated. Okay, I simply said, I'm going to reach out to Math Count to let them know the next time you have an announcer to tell them to be mindful of this talk and the communication they use on that stage or platform, because they're talking to the best of us. They're talking to children. And what they say to those children can literally lead those children to leave Math Count competition, even though they won, can go home and start to think negative about the fact that they won. Okay, now my granddaughter, I told her, she said, Papa, I'm okay that we didn't win. I said, sweetie, you did win. Here's why you won. And guys, here's what you understand. Here's what I want you to understand. My granddaughter's school had about 8 or 9 people on their math team that went to the school. It was their first time ever in the competition. That's a win. Regardless of a trophy, that's a win. First time invited to the competition. The competition has gone over 40 years. First time ever being invited to the competition. That's a win. Second, her team was a predominantly black team of predominantly females. That is another win, twice. Because when I looked at the picture, guys, I'm like, wow. We have predominantly black females representing, saying, hey, I made it to Math Count. That's a win. Whether you won the trophy or not, that's a win. Something to be proud of. And guys, thirdly, now that you've been here, you know what it feels like, so that when you come back next year, guess what? You're just in the 7th grade. You can win. You can prep. You got a year to prep. Okay? Guys, lastly, I want you to understand that when it comes to children, guys, we have to be mindful and we have to be very intentional of what we say to them and how we say it. Because if not, guys, we will have them in a situation to where they literally personalize it and think that they're not worthy. Turn into insecurities. Those insecurities turn into other stuff. Okay, I'm not going to say the other stuff because I was flagged my very first episode of Life, Love, and Loud Truth with DJ because it said that I was mentioning some stuff that could be hurtful. So I'm not going to say it. But guys, it can lead to stuff which will put these children at the place I work. Okay, guys, we have to be mindful and very intentional of how we talk to our children. Why? I'm closing with this. Be mindful and very intentional of how we treat the best of us, our children, because if we disrupt them, then we set up for them to interrupt the rest of us. Okay, guys, thank you for joining all the platforms that are here. Okay, Monday night, guys, I will not be doing Life, Love, and Loud Truth on Monday night because I did pick up a second shift class. At work, a training class. However, I'm thinking Friday I'll probably do 2 or 3 hours, combine the family parenting with relationships on Friday. Okay, stay tuned. I will definitely post, guys, probably tomorrow sometimes. Guys, thank you. Once again, thank you. I want to close with this, guys. I just looked at my Echo. It is 0 degrees out there. Columbus, Ohio, it is 0 degrees. I got 2 circles on my Echo in front of me. I got the 0 and then I got the degree. 2 circles. It's cold, guys. Please make sure you're warm, you're safe. Okay, good night, guys. Love and blessings. Thank you all for joining in.